Hello, nice to meet you everyone. I'm Lena. I work with Systopia, which is an implementer agency based in Germany. And we fall into the habit of developing a lot of extensions and never talk about them. So that is why I am here, and I'm going to continue John's talk from yesterday about some extension you might not have ever heard of, but that might be useful. And I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about resource management. For example, by managing resources that you need for an event like this, the CiviCon in San Francisco. So what kind of resources do we need for an event so we don't fall into the trap of having no signal, having no image? Of course, we need volunteers. We have a lot of lovely people here who are doing this for us tonight. But we also need a lot of physical and spatial resources, for example, rooms or technical equipment like microphones and screens, HDMI cables, and so on. How would you go about doing this in CiviCRM? There's a function for Civi volunteers, which you can use to manage volunteers, of course. And we've seen people use that, or let's say abuse that, to make their own content types and name them rooms or technical equipment or something like that, so they'll be able to manage them for the events as well. But if you've been to Coleman's talk just a few minutes ago, you know that now there's a better way to go about this if you want to manage other stuff, for example, rooms, microphones, screens, or goats. And that's the entity construction kit, which you can use to make custom entities. And I'm going to show you a little bit of a framework we have built upon this and also other CiviCRM functions. These are the main modules you need for managing resources in CiviCRM. The entity construction kit, of course, is an extension that enables you to create custom entities in CiviCRM. So in this context, we will need it to manage physical resources. We also use the search kit and form builder for a versatile area of searches, lists, views, and so on. So you can create and edit and find your custom entities. And then here's the two extensions you might not have heard of yet. The resource management extension is an extension we built for a German social organization who were doing a lot of events after the COVID pandemic. And after the implementation, we got so busy with other stuff, so we never really talked about it. So right now, this extension has 6 installs worldwide, but it might be useful for some of you as well. The main extension provides an UI to define resources and an algorithm to match them with the demands, for example, for an event. For managing resources for an event, we have another extension called Resource Event. This extension creates a special participant object in CiviCRM whenever a resource is assigned to a demand. You can use that for searches and reports or to provide online integration features for your volunteers. For that, you will need event invitation and event messages. So you have a whole framework of, for example, contacting your volunteers if their help is demanded in an event. So you'll assign you'll make contact available as a resource, and then you can use these functions to integrate them in your resource management. For example, with event invitation and event messaging, you can message them, hey, we have a new volunteer opportunity available. We saw that you matched your availabilities. Would you be able to help us that day? And since I only have a couple of minutes, I'm going to show you this in a few screenshots. I hope you can see that, right? This is a demo. If you have some time later on, I can also show it to you live, but it's not fully configured, so some of those labels are still in German, but that's not part of the extension, it's just a feature. So you can see this is the way we use SearchKit to have an overview of event management. You can search for events and have all the event information possible. but the interesting thing that the resource event extension does is that it adds this tab to your screen where you configure your event. You can see on the right there's a new tab called Required Resources, where we put together a couple of resources we might need for this event. And these resources might be human resources, which in CiviCRM would be contacts, but they can also be spatial or physical resources, which we've defined and configured before in the entity construction kit. So these are custom entities, for example, technical equipment like microphones or different rooms you might have to have available for your event. And in this Required Resources tab, you have different options. You can edit your resource demand and change how many, for example, volunteers or microphones you need. And you can modify the conditions and assign different resources to your demand. If you modify the conditions, you can show which kind of resources you need and at which time they should be available. For example, the helping hand should be available for 2 hours before the event starts and 10 minutes after the event ends. And these conditions you can then match with the context availabilities. This is an example of assigning a resource. In this case, it's the microphones. If there's open demand of a resource, you can use the algorithm, and it will suggest you resources that are available and match your demand. For example, these microphones that fit the current demand, and you can add them to your event. So that's my very quick overview. I hope that will help you to organize a very successful event like this without any technical problems whatsoever. And if you have any questions, I would like to refer you to the additional material. We have, of course, the documentation and the GitHub repositories for these two extensions I just showed you, resource and resource event. It's a bit fuzzy with the naming, but I hope you will find them if you look for that. And I can also refer you to the blog series we do. We try to be more vocal about what we develop, so we started the Extension of the Month blog post, which roughly every month. I've been a bit on delay on that lately, but we try to showcase some of the extension and some of the works we've done, and you can look that up. The documentation also goes a bit more into detail how these different extensions work together, also with event invitation and event messages, so you'll be able to use that for your own events and make them very nice and successful like this one. Thank you so much.